Welcome, friends, to Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter. We bring you the greatest female voices in the music industry, from the artists, songwriters, and producers, to managers and executives, and all the women who make the music industry what it is today. Thank you for joining us. Welcome, friends, to another episode of Crazy Women Country. I'm Donna.
I'm Paula, and today we have Jes Justice with us. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thank you guys for having me.
No worries.
Our pleasure.
I got your name right. I'm well proud.
That's
Really concentrated. Yeah, it's Justice. It's quite funny. So the first question, the hardest question ever. Who is Jes?
oh my gosh.
We start with the difficult ones and then we go from there.
Take it easier as we go, I promise.
Yeah.
Well, I am a singer-songwriter here in Nashville. I do country music. It's kind of walks the line of like folk country and pop. Gosh, what else? I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. And I have a dog. And
we love dogs.
We love
dogs.
I
have a cat too. I forget to mention him sometimes, but
that's cool. That's cool.
And then I full-time. I do music full-time. And I play in Nashville very often. I've toured across the US. And then since COVID, when I'm not doing music, I'm also an astrologer. So that's like my other thing. Sometimes I do like readings for my fans or bookers even, and do their tarot cards. So, yeah.
That's really cool.
It is. I saw that in your profile. I was like, wow, that's a complete contrast from music to
sometimes I keep them separate because sometimes it doesn't quite go with the whole country music theme. But for the more like Casey Musgraves type of country fans, it's right there. Good.
I have to say though, I've read so many profiles or writing about artists, and I have to say yours was so open. You're so open with your fans. You know what I mean? You've told them everything you've been through, and that's just amazing. I mean, it takes a lot of courage to say some of the things that you've been through. So.
Thank you.
That's awesome. That is really awesome. Especially in the day and age that we live in and what people do go through. For someone like you to come out and say, look, I've been through this, I've survived it, and this is where I am now. It's just amazing. So
yeah, my last single was called Break Me. The one and I did a music video for it too, which was my first. I've made other music videos, but I ended up deleting them. This was the first one I made that I loving. And it was very much about like a toxic relationship, like borderline abusive. And so I made the song was about that. I wrote it a long time ago, but I made a video about that. But it's so prevalent, like it's so common, like in life. Like a lot of people are in relationships that can turn toxic, or it's really not black. Like it's really something that people experience all the time. You can have a relationship, have it go in elements of toxicity even, and then maybe therapy and come out of it, even the same relationship. But it is, I think it's so much more prevalent than we really think. And it's not just like other people. It's like, it's a lot of people,
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. I feel like I feel like the only material I have is like the stuff I go through. I don't know what else to talk about. So.
Well, that's country music, though, isn't it? Country music is what people go through, what they experience, but then that's how people relate to it. They relate to it because it's either something they've been through themselves, or they can relate to it in another way. So,
Yeah.
And from the writer perspective, they're always right as what you know, and that's truth right there.
That is it.
Yeah.
Must admit, we were talking about Break Me before you come on, and I have to say, I listened to it the first time and I was like, I like this. And the second time I really listened to it, and I'm sitting there thinking, my eyes are burning. I'm thinking, oh my God, this is just, this is actually really sad and really emotional. I was like, okay, we need to stop there before I come on with big red eyes.
Yeah, production does not sound that sad. The production sounds kind of like a mid-tempo country pop song. Yeah, and then you listen to the lyrics, you're like, oh my God, this is like domestic violence. Like what? Right? So yeah, I wrote it too around the same time. I wrote it a while ago. And I was in like that. And it was also around the time when Chris Brown assaulted Rihanna. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like it was very in the news, and it was like, so that like also, I know that's like such a random pop culture reference, but you would never, but that like really colored the song too. Like, like 'cause going through something similar, not that dramatic, not that violent, but that being in the news. And even now I don't know if you've seen the whole Gabby Petito case. Have you seen that? That's been in the news. There's like and that with the domestic violence stop and how it like they were going to name her the aggressor, and then he ended up murdering her, and now he's on the run. But it's like all over the news, and it just this toxic relationship thing. I just think it's so like it's really relatable, like, and it's not like that rare, I feel like a lot of people will go through it at least once, if not more than once. Not saying, what I mean? It's like, it feels like sort of, I am an optimist, and I do.
It's true. I think everyone has a toxic relationship at least once in their life, and maybe not, and hopefully they don't, but we all have different relationships that may be toxic. It may not be as violent as some others, but we've all been through them.
Yes. And not every toxic relationship looks exactly like the Chris Brown. None of that is an extreme. Yeah. And it's certainly like a spectrum. And even all on the spectrum, though, it can absolutely erode like your self-confidence, your self-worth, your happiness in life, like it is very like, I guess that's why they call it toxic, like it can really like destroy you from the inside out.
Yeah. And I think obviously with COVID and everybody being locked up, you've had, I don't know about the States, but over here you get a lot of adverts about hand signals and stuff that people can give if you are in a toxic relationship, because you don't have that freedom now to leave the house or be able to talk to people as easily. So I think they're definitely not making it how do I say this? Not making a big thing of it, but obviously trying to warn people that if there is something going on, you can get help, even during the bad times that you're going through. So I think maybe it's been taken more seriously than it has done previously. So.
Yeah. Another thing about it is that it can be so insidious because I think it's possible for someone to even be in a toxic relationship and not even be totally sure that they are, because of the elements of like, sometimes when you're in a toxic relationship, you become toxic too, right? Like and then you're both engaging in toxic behaviors, and then there's gaslighting going on, and you might just get your reality can become so distorted. Yeah. Like you might not know that you're in a full on, like, until you are able to take a few steps back and be like, oh my gosh, what have I become? What is life? And so I think that's another struggle that people like have to get out of it, because it's first like the realization that you're really in it. Mm-hmm. And then there's codependency too that you can throw in that makes it even harder to live a lot of relationships like that. It lowers your self-worth, so you become even more codependent than maybe, and yeah, I could just go on. I'm already about it, but it's
it's definitely a really tough place. But I think if anyone listens to that song, they're gonna obviously learn more about you and actually feel like, I can move on, I can do something about this, and I can be stronger from it afterwards, as long as you give yourself that time and give time to yourself to do it. So
yeah, you gotta break out of the pattern. Yeah. That's like the hardest part. It's just and there's also people leaving a toxic relationship that is not always that easy, especially like we're talking with COVID right now and with people's finances, like there's financial struggles to get out of a relationship. Oh, Kitty.
Tigger's back. She hasn't been here for a while.
Yeah. Tigger is the CWC cat. He really is. So, yeah.
Very.
Yes.
Very.
That's so cool. Yeah, I think, I don't know, there's another advert over here saying that one of the hardest things to do is to leave an abusive relationship. And it is, because as you said, it's easy to be in that place and stay there because of everything else you need. And then, you know, I can understand that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible. But yeah, so hopefully the song will be, in the video will be like, you know, yeah, so if people watching it can know that, like, you know, they're not alone, and it's not an uncommon thing that happens. It's almost like I wouldn't say it's like part of life, but it's certainly something that a situation that anyone could find themselves in.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like good to shed light on it too, to kind of bring it, because sometimes people don't want to talk about the bad things, you know, like domestic abuse and things like that. People don't want to talk about it. And that's especially when you have like people like Martine McBride, when she did Concrete Angel. I mean, that, you know. Yeah. And there can be like a stigma around it, you know?
Yeah.
So,
yeah, definitely. And there's quite a few songs out there like that, especially by female artists, I must admit, that it shed lights on these, you know, domestic abuse or, you know, children and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, I think, you know, it's something we need to approach, but it's doing it in a way that's not either aggressive or scary for people to do, you know. So.
Yes. And when I was making the video, I can tend to be, you know, like extreme. And so I made this video, and in the video I got like fake glass bottles, and I have my friend who was playing my boyfriend in the video, like smash the bottle like on the wall. And I was like, does that like get the point across enough? Cause like, I'm like, do we need to go like further? But everyone was like, no, like we got it. And it's gonna be, if you go further, it's gonna be like triggering to people. Like you communicate without being like we're still being tasteful and not being like, oh, as long as, okay. You get
we'll get this fine line between, you know.
Yes, exactly. Like, right. But and at the end too, it is still like, it is documenting, it is making art about my own experience. So I do feel like, you know, I can say like, I'm allowed to say that, right? Like, because it's like your own experience. But then again, you do want to frame it in a way that's like digestible. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like creating the, like, since we're in Halloween right now time period, it's like creating a Halloween story, but like, you know how you have all the Jasons and all them and all the different ones where they all like, they run to the stupid like locations or, you know, like who would do that? Like, you know, like who runs upstairs, run out the door? Like, you know, when we have those, it's kind of like in that sense of, like you said, that fine line of, okay, well, if we're going to do the narrative, let's do it the way it should be, not, you know.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Horror films annoy me. They always run up the stairs or into the smallest clothes, into the bathroom. Well, seriously, you can't get out of a bathroom window, can you? Why?
So anyway,
there you go. That's a whole completely different topic there.
I'm not just kind of off topic, sorry. But it was just kind of that frame of the story of it. No matter what, it's like you got to frame it in the right sense that, you know, it's going to be taken serious and not corny or, you know, just that's all I was trying to get to. That, you know, I like using examples. What can I say?
That's awesome. I love that.
So tell us, who are some of the women that have inspired you to do music? When did you realize that you wanted to do music?
So I started singing when I was like 3 years old, and I used to listen to Reba McEntire in the car with my mom. We would listen to like Reba McEntire, Patsy Cline, and Janis Joplin. Those are like three main influences from when I was like young, growing up. And then as I became a teenager, I was all about like the Dixie Chicks and Jewel and Alanis Morissette. I was like, and Jody Messina, Martina McBride. Those are probably like my heroes.
That's awesome.
Just amazing women.
Yeah, Reba McEntire, like my.
Oh my God, she's awesome. Reba's the best.
Yeah, those are like our top artists here. Dolly and Reba, you know.
With that. And it's been so much better now. Dolly and Reba together in the one song. It's like,
Yeah, and I remember my like first song I sang that my mom was like, "Oh, you can sing," was "Fancy" by Reba McEntire, and she would have me sing it for my dad, but then she'd be like, "Don't sing that at school." Like,
yeah, that's a bit, you know. That's quite funny. I love that.
I totally understand, because Dolly wrote songs about like killing people, dogs, kids. Like, you know, come on, who kills the dog?
Yeah.
Only Dolly can do that and get away with it. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
That's very funny. Oh, perfect. Okay, well, now we've done all this serious stuff. We have this really, really cool section. 20 questions plus one. Oh my God, you got that wrong, didn't I? Okay, so these are really, really fun questions where we get to know you as the person rather than you, the musician. I can't talk. Okay, so really, really cool. Some are quick fire, some are a bit more thought-inducing, provoking. I don't know words. Well, it will be. Okay.
There's no right answer.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong answer. Whatever you say goes. It's all good. Okay, are you ready for this now?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. Okay. Early bird or night owl?
Night owl.
Perfect. What sitcom family would you be a member of? Or TV show or whatever one?
That's an interesting one. The first thing that comes to mind when you say sitcom family was like Family Matters, but I feel like that wouldn't. Like, I don't know. That's a really tough one. Can Seinfeld count, even though they're not a traditional family? They're
That's
like,
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Any
Who's
sort
it
of
for you?
sitcom. Yeah, any kind of sitcom. I mean, I should reword that question. You know, any sitcom you might want to be a part of. That would be kind of cool.
I'll go OG.
That's cool. Okay, if we had a look on your phone or your iPod, what would be your guilty pleasure music? What would you have hidden in there?
Hidden. Oh gosh. Well, I feel like I wear my guilty pleasure. Like, I don't really have any guilty pleasures because like my music taste is so, like when they do their Spotify wrap up at the end of the year, like I just listen to like girl pop country, and that's Taylor Swift. Like that's like I'm trying to think of the most guilty pleasurous thing.
You haven't
It's
got...
just I only listen to like female singers. That might be a guilty. I don't even want to hear like men sing.
There you go.
That's so awesome.
And that was good. It's fine because like women get discriminated in music, especially in country anyway. So like one person who only wants to hear women evens it out, right? So it's so I guess that you will not find a single male artist.
We can put you to the test. No, you are definitely a crazy woman country.
Yes.
Yes. Woman. Definitely.
So you're gonna be on our weekly special here.
Yes. That is very cool.
What is Jes listening to this week?
Yeah.
To like I've been fighting with my boyfriend, so it's all I made like a breakup playlist, and it's all Carly Pierce and Casey Musgraves just have their great like divorce album. Even though I have Casey Musgraves, this new album is like pretty pop, but I do like it a lot, and I love the Carly Pierce album. And I've been like weirdly getting back into like Taylor Swift as she's been like doing her re-record, because she just has such good like breakup songs.
She does.
Yeah, she does.
She really does. Yeah.
The queen of breakup. That's very cool. Okay, what's the weirdest, sweetest, or kindest thing a fan has ever done for you?
Oh, that's easy. He might be listening to this, so I have my my most avid fan. He makes like his own shirts of me.
Okay.
And then and then he comes to Nashville and like wears them to all of my gigs. Like and he'll have like a different shirt for every gig. Like he'll have like 5 of them with like different pictures of mine, like from Facebook, and like different color shirt, different photo. He'll also like just print out stickers of me and like mail them to me, like so I can use them.
I think you need to give him a job doing your merch.
Yeah. There you go. He's got a new job.
Yeah, he was at one of my gigs, and like the drummer was like, "Oh, when did you make those shirts?" And my boyfriend was on guitar. He's like, "Oh no, he makes those himself."
Yeah. That's funny.
He's my biggest fan, so that's probably it is sweet. He's a sweet guy.
That's awesome. That definitely shows you what a fan they are. To put t-shirts together and take all that time. That is awesome. I love that. Okay, boots or heels?
Boots. Yeah, I don't think. And I used to wear heels when I lived in New York, and then I moved to Nashville, and I realized like I hadn't worn heels in like 3 years. And I asked other people, I was like, "You wear heels?" And most people are like, "No." Because also that I play for like 4 hours at a time, so.
Oh my God. Heels for 4 hours. That'd be awful.
I think that's a New York thing, though. In New York, it seems like everyone dresses up all the time for whatever. Like that's just it's cultural there.
It totally is. Because I would like go home, like I would go home to my hometown, like Buffalo or whatever. And everyone would be like, "Why are you so dressed up?" And I'd be like, "This is just how I'm dressed." Because it's totally different style than Nashville's much more relaxed, like than New York.
Yeah, jeans and boots and you're sorted. You know what I mean?
Yes, and like even to a nice place, like it's completely fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what's your favorite drink?
Like does coffee count?
Yep.
Then it's coffee, 1,000%. Like coffee every different way. I drink coffee in the morning, the decaf, and then at some point I go to Starbucks and get some sort of like latte, like configuration. Right now I'm all about, I've been watching like Starbucks, people ordering Starbucks drinks on TikTok, and I've really learned how to like order, because it's like if you just go to a menu, like no, that's not it. It's like really learning like how to specifically order your drinks. I had to like learn it, and now I'm into iced coffee, sugar-free vanilla with pumpkin cold foam and a dash of cinnamon. It's really good, and it's not too. I don't like things to be too sweet. So.
Yes.
Okay, so I have a feeling we should do a video on this.
Yeah, we need how to order at Starbucks.
You were at Starbucks.
I watch it on the films, and they're like, "I want this coffee with half cap, half this." I'm thinking, "What? It's a coffee."
Yeah,
no.
So specific. It's hyper specific, and if you order it certain ways, it ends up being like cheaper too. Which Starbucks could add up. Like I remember I brought my boyfriend and I got a latte, and he was like, "Did he say $6.95?" And I'm like, "Yeah." What? For a drink, like
it's not even alcoholic. It's like really, yeah, that's just crazy. Okay, so now we know your amazing coffee choice. What about alcoholic choice?
Well, I don't really drink too much anymore, but in my day, I really hit it hard. I will probably, usually just like Jack Daniels, whiskey. I went through a pretty big gin and tonic phase though. That was in New York, and that was like for a few years because it's kind of different. It's like a different. Yeah.
It changes obviously the brand and stuff like that.
But I found then I did whiskey, but I found like whiskey was not the best for like behavior wise, and I feel like clear alcohols was less regrets. So I guess I don't really I mean, I've run the gamut, man, but I don't really drink more.
That's cool. I get
That's
that.
okay. I was joking the other day. I said we have like at my age. I said I'm at the point where I'm like I have a drink and I'm like ready for bed. Like I'm tired. I'm good.
Yeah, like I don't really drink too much anymore. Yeah, I feel like if I was gonna have a drink now, it would be like a light wine spritzer or something. Seltzer. Something.
If I drink Coke all night, I can wake up next morning with the worst hangover ever. So, you know, it's the worst. I have to stay away from Coke. Coke gives me the worst headache the next morning. I'm like, oh my God, what did I drink?
And you don't even have the official caramel color, do you? Like the US?
No.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're health conscientious in Europe and everywhere else. It's the US that we have that bad food.
So, yeah, we can just eat poison.
Yeah.
Maybe like
brominated vegetable oil in our soda. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, like we're all learning about this now. Like, hey, what? Like, oh, just poison you. Yeah, it's fine.
And take certain margarines, add one ingredient, and heat it, and we made plastic. We're good. Like,
Oh my God, that's horrendous. I must admit, I spent 3 months in the States and I must have put on more weight there than I've ever done in my entire life. And then it took me months to get it off when I got back here because it was just fast food. I don't think I ate anything. When I got back to Spain after 3 months in the States, I craved a vegetable. I was like, I need a vegetable. I need something. I really did. It was quite fun for the first, few days, but then it was like, oh my God, everything was just, if you ever had a vegetable or something, it was terrible. It was crazy, absolutely crazy. So, yeah, it's a very different way of living. Very, very different way. Very different way. What's your favourite holiday?
I mean, I guess Christmas, but I really do like Easter. I like Halloween too. I mean, I guess I'll just go with Christmas. Christmas is, but I'll tell you my least favorite holiday. My least favorite holiday is New Year's. I hate New Year's because number one, it's like made up. It's not even, I guess you could say all but most of the holidays are based on some sort of like seasonal pagan, like, and I can get into astrology. I like that. But New Year's is like made up calendar. And here's the thing that gets me about it. It's the countdown. So much anxiety. Like it's an anxiety inducing. What other holidays? 10, 9, 8, like no. And it's like have to right, like you have to have a good New Year's or and it's just, and you're set up to fail because it's just like really a drinking holiday. There's nothing really that much around besides that. And then like you're supposed to start your New Year like hungover, like off to a terrible start. Like I just not like it. And so I'm like I might stop celebrating it like as a personal like choice. Like it's fun.
So let me ask you, have you ever done like the New Year's resolutions or like, cause like when I do a resolution, it's usually like my birthday or some other important day that to me needs a resolution versus New Year's Day.
Yeah. I used to do New Year's resolutions until I came to the like, I'm like, this isn't real. This isn't the real New Year. Like there's nothing about this date that feels like new stuff. Like it's the dead. You know what I mean? Like, you're going to just charge off into the, you know what I mean? Nothing's going on in January, February. Those are like the dead months, right? Not like a total lie. And like the real New Year, yeah, should be either like your birthday, which makes sense, or like the spring, like March, like, so yeah, I'm like, I guess I'll start my own like crusade, like anti-January 1st. Like it's not real. I won't.
I never understand celebrating it myself because if you do go out, it costs you 10 times more than any other time of the year just because you go to the 1st of January, and it's just the end of another month, really.
Yes. Places that free to go for like $100. Yeah. So just like drink and then like be like 10, 9, 8, 7, and then like have your like 1 second moment at midnight. The lead up to it is so stressful though. Like if you're like when I was younger and like cared about having like a good, cool time, like that was very important. Now I'm just like, I'm not doing this anymore. That's
it's like Happy New Year, and then you wake up and you're like, oh, it's just my flipping day.
Yeah.
1st of January there, and you got the next 2 depressing months because it's cold and horrible.
Yes, exactly. Yes, it is.
Unless you're in Florida.
Here.
Oh yeah, unless you're in Florida, of course.
And you're still swimming in the pool because it's like 100 degrees, you know. Well, not 100, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Sorry to go off tangent, but that's
there you go. That's how our whole theory on New Year. I love that.
Let me tell you what I hate.
I'm not sure what happened to the optimism there. No.
Right? I know. Maybe optimism like tries to keep it real. Like
okay, what's your favorite animal?
I think dogs. I do like dolphins and I do like monkeys, but I love dogs. I love cats too. I keep forgetting to say that. My cat, people are like, don't you care about your cat? But
Cats are independent.
Yeah.
Are like, that's the thing when you have a dog and a cat, the dog's more like a baby and the cat's more like a roommate companion type. Like, but yeah, I think dogs are my favorite animal. And when I was young, I was like very obsessed with dogs and I could name like all the breeds of dogs and like, yeah. So dogs are my favorite.
Yeah, the whole relationship between, apart from Donna's cat, which is just very unique and comes with cuddles. I mean, I've had cats, but they only come to when they want feeding or something, you know. A dog because it wants to be there.
So you're like, you're talking to someone. Let me cuddle you now. I'm like, oh, okay, great. That's wonderful.
Tigger's the best. Tigger's in quite a few of our videos. He's the best. Okay, if you could add someone to Mount Rushmore, who would it be and why?
Well, it would definitely be a woman. I feel like the on-trend thing to do these days would be like Dolly Parton. Like I feel like everyone's like wanting that. Like so, I feel like great unifier. So I feel like that's who.
We need Dolly up there. We do.
Yeah.
We need Dolly up there. Okay, what was your first concert you ever went to?
Hanson. You know who Hanson is?
I know. Yep.
And
I'm surprised you admitted that. Okay, let's move on. Who was it after that?
concert or real
That's very cool.
Hanson, that I went to a lot of those, and I went to like Hanson and 98 Degrees. And then if it was going to be real concert, then I started going to like, Lisa Loeb. That would be like a little more legitimate, but I loved him.
I can see why you no longer listen to male singers when you listen, you know, when you had Hanson.
That was good. Yeah, that was good and bad.
This kind of veered you off. Let's get this way.
I admit I liked Hanson too, so you know, I'll go with you.
We all knew that one song, didn't we? Whether you wanted to or not, you knew the song.
No, I actually like the other songs more off their album. Believe it or not.
I didn't know them, so I knew the one song and that was it.
Yeah, I was a big Spice Girls fan too, but like I didn't get enough to see the Spice Girls in concert.
Okay, so do you have a favorite book or author?
This one's kind of a weird one, but I'm gonna go with like slightly unconventional. Not really. There's my favorite author would be Julia Cameron. She wrote The Artist's Way. Have you ever heard of The Artist's Way? Yes. So that way I do the artist way like all the time. And I also took like, if she counts as an author, I mean, she wrote books. So yeah. And I also took her class like in person in New York. So I got to like meet her, but I'm a big artist way. Like, I think everyone should do the artist way, like at least once. I try to do it like, for anyone who doesn't know, it's like a 12-week workbook with like essays and tasks and stuff. Yeah. And I try to do it like every year.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
that's awesome.
I read a lot of like self books. That's like so all that like Jen Sincero and like trying to think. I haven't been as big
everyone needs to read how to, that being a badass. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's a new classic. Is a really good one. I love Elizabeth Gilbert's Big Magic too. That was another great one. Trying to think. I'm like, I guess that's it. I haven't been reading as much this like past year. I've been like a social media addict, but there was a time when I used to read like 30 to 40 books like in a year, not some of the audiobooks a lot, but I was like a self-help book like junkie.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of people who have issues are like, so
yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that. Cause I mean, some of them put them into the business realm, like Simon Sinek, Start with the Why, like those type of books, like.
Yeah. Yes. There's another one, I'm trying to think of all the names of them. I'm like envisioning my like nightstand, but that's why Julia Cameron comes, because that's what I've been like reading and like writing about. So I'm like, I'll go with Julia Cameron. I recommend. I feel like that too is like one of the first like self-help like type books, and I love a good workbook. Man, do I! Like I just do really do. There's not enough workbooks. Like if there were more, I would buy them. Like
we know we're going to do now next.
How to create a workbook.
Yeah. I love workbooks because it's it's like interact. Like yeah. The last like fiction books I've read were if I had to pick, okay, because now my memory's a bit dropped, was Gillian Flynn with like The Gone Girl and all those. Yeah. She read two other ones. I read all those. And I really liked them. So I was big on all the game too before that got ruined. But I was huge Game of Thrones fan. Huge.
A friend of mine read them, and they were. She said they were hard going, but they were really, really good. But
really, my boyfriend would. You're like talking Game of Thrones like in your sleep at night. Like I would.
No, that's gorgeous.
They're very good. They're long. They're really long. Oh, I also love the book. This is another sort of like esoteric thing, but there's a book called Reality Transurfing, which is sort of, and this is by this guy, Vladimir Zeland. He's Russian. And it's sort of like law of attraction, but like a little more nuanced and like more, you just have to check it out. But if you're into like law of attraction or anything like that, you will like it. There's also lots of YouTube videos on it, Reality Transfer. But yeah, so much of my like reading is like that. So
that's cool.
So what's the best thing since sliced bread?
That's tough. I mean, coffee is the first thing that comes to my mind. Big coffee, because coffee like a lot of comfort. It's like it can give like if I feel bad, I'll immediately drink coffee. But so the best thing since sliced bread for me would be, if I had to like list a few things, would be coffee, female artists, music artists, and whatever, visual too, scented candles, especially candles. I'll leave it at that. Those are my
top three. There they are.
Perfect. I love that.
If you could talk to anyone, alive or dead, who would it be, and what would you want to talk about?
Well, I have two-pronged. I mean, I feel like my classic answer would be like, I'd like to talk to Janis Joplin and talk about her career, and like maybe if it was like before she died, like get her to not take drugs and die and like live till like so she could live, and that would be awesome. I would talk like all that. I would be friends with Janis Joplin. But then my other person, dead or alive, would be, I would really like to know like the secrets of like the Kardashians, because I feel like there's a lot like going on there, like with this like empire that they have built that is like massive. Like they have become the biggest stars, like just ubiquitous, just absolutely ubiquitous. And so I'd like to talk to Kris Jenner. Like, hello, can I speak to Kris Jenner, please? I want to know, like, what it's like. Tell me, like, you need to tell me, like, what is this? How did you do this?
Yeah.
They're like mastermind. Like, I want to know, because there's definitely like some secrets there, like that I feel like would. Oh God, what? Like, there's gotta be. It might be.
Even if you don't watch the Kardashians, everybody knows the Kardashians.
Yeah. Just
I've never watched them, and their names are just everywhere all the time. It's like, who are they? I had to look them up just to figure out, what this was all about, and then kind of moved on. But it's like they're everywhere, literally everywhere.
Yes.
See, and I flash. Good.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, I flashed back immediately back to the O.J. Simpson trial, and boom, it's like that's where I go immediately. As soon as I hear the name Kardashian, I'm like, I am so flashback 20 plus years, 25 years, whatever it was. I don't remember. Almost 30 years.
Yeah, that there's that connection too. Like, it's like wild. It's wild.
Crazy.
Yeah. So that's, I want to talk to Kris Jenner. Like, I want to know. I feel like she has some definite like secrets and tricks up her sleeve.
Definitely.
If you weren't doing music, what would you be doing?
Well, I also do astrology. So that astrology, tarot cards, being an entrepreneur, basically. But I would also go back to school for psychology and get a PhD, which I think maybe eventually I will. Like in my 40s, I could see myself doing that, like down the road. Even if I'm still doing music, I feel like I could do both.
She's making me feel old here.
I know. I was just joking. I said it's T-minus a few months till I turn 40. Thank you. So
I just turned. What am I talking about? I turned 40 a few years ago, and I'm just doing my.
That's not old. I'm talking about it as like, I think it's have to start a whole second life, right? Like, a whole nother thing. Yeah, 40 is like the new. Like 28.
I like you.
40's the new 28. I like this. We're gonna coin that one.
Definitely.
Copyright, come here. If you were a Disney character, what Disney character would you be?
Oh, I feel like I'd be Elsa. That's the first that comes to mind, because she's like it's a little bit difficult. Like and like kind of moody, right? And it's like, she's like, I'm just gonna go like freeze everybody out, and like, so that's who I would be. Oh, Elsa. Is that the right one? The one, it's Elsa.
Yeah, she's the main one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that.
Do you have a favorite flavor of ice cream?
I like vanilla with any sort of like, anything that's vanilla with like cookies or cookie dough or candy bar type things, anything like that.
Awesome.
But I'm going to these like artisanal ice cream places that have like lavender or like weird like wild things. Yeah, I'm up for anything though. But
isn't lavender a scent?
Yeah, I don't want to eat a flower. I don't.
That's what I was thinking. I'm confused here.
I barely want to eat orange in my chocolate.
Okay. I like green ice cream too, but it's definitely not a favorite. Like if I had to eat forever, it would be vanilla with like cookies and cream or like candy bar stuff in it.
That's cool. I get that.
So what's your current favorite snack?
Well, I'm always like I'm all either. I feel like this is not a good way to be, and I'm not promoting this, but I feel like I'm always like either on a diet or off the diet. And so when I'm like on, I snack on smoked salmon or string cheese. I love that. I also really like hummus, but sometimes low carb. And if I'm off a diet, oh man, I'll eat anything. Potato chip, chips. I love chips. French fries. Yeah, those are my favorite snacks.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So hypothetically, if I came to you and said I need to hide a dead body, do you know a good place?
I mean, I guess the attic. I guess my attic.
That's good, too. I love that. Maybe your net's up there.
I have a lot of creative solutions, but no one really uses my attic, so I guess that's what I would.
Hide them in the ceiling boards.
Yeah. Yeah.
There you go.
A lot of true crime, so maybe if I thought more about it, I might have know what to do.
It still amazes me the amount of people who watch true crimes and people are still being caught. Hello, you're also not watching them right. You're still being caught. How are you still being caught by this?
Laziness, just laziness and unprofessional.
Totally, yeah. Oh my God.
What would be a good theme song for your life?
That's tough. Gosh. Hard to wrap the whole thing up in one bow.
Or a specific moment.
Okay. The first thing that comes to mind is Fight Song by Rachel Platten. That is I love Rachel Platten, but I also know that's a little cheesy, but my music taste is cheesy. It's either really depressing, folky, country, sad, or pop music. It's either country sad, a singer-songwriter, or pop. Yeah, I'm just gonna go. Although that's kind of I don't want to fight forever though. Maybe it's tough. This is tough. Wide Open Spaces. Let's do that.
Ooh, beautiful. Beautiful.
Yes.
I've several things moving on. Yeah, we'll do that one.
Definitely. That's a good song.
So tell our audience a good album or artist or a couple artists they need to listen to before they die.
Well, before you die, check out. Well, I love a lot of the new females in country coming up, like Lainey Wilson. And although, these people aren't new, they've been making music for a while, but Lainey Wilson, I love Hannah Dasher. I'm you should check out this new person, Taylor Swift. I'm just kidding.
Taylor
looking. Those are the least, the more not super famous people that I'm listening to right now. Hang on, I'm cheating, and I'm kind of
it's okay. You wouldn't be the first person that's done that during an interview. That's a little bit let me search this.
I also love. This is another not too famous. Haley Hammock, I also love. I love Ashley McBride. She's like one of my very, very favorite.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like that's it for now. That's all I think of in my mind. I hope that's enough. That was like 5 or 6.
That's awesome.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay, the final question, the +1. Who is your favorite CWC host? Damn it. Spit off there.
I have. Oh, I know. Tigger.
Oh, that damn cat. Tigger's had more votes than anybody ever.
So this year's winner for host of the year is Tigger.
Tigger.
Yeah, you're both amazing.
He just makes one appearance and goes, oh, Tigger. Tigger wins.
I know if the dogs could jump up, they'd probably win too, you know?
Yeah.
Be Tigger and dogs, you know?
Yeah, I'm not at home, so you can't see my dogs, but yeah, that would be the one. Tell us, what have you got planned for the rest of 2021? There's not much left to it.
Well, I've got 2 songs coming out, Christmas songs. One, I just have a version of Oh Holy Night coming out. And then the other one is I have an original Christmas song I wrote called Christmas Always. It's really Christmas Always Makes Me Want to Come Back Home, but it's too long. So I called it Christmas Always. Yeah, and then I have like a new EP to come out for the next year and a bunch of new music.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful. I look forward to it.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Definitely. So yeah, make sure you let us know when they're coming out and we can help promote and put on our socials and stuff. That'd be great.
So much.
Awesome. Well, this has been fun. This is
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. It was worth the wait. It was 6 months.
I'm glad. So glad you said it was worth the wait. I think you probably think,
Well, thank you for waiting. It's been our pleasure having you.
Yes.
Yeah. Still going to happen? Like, will they still remember me? Dead.
Yes. No, well, we've got everything. We've got everything, and we've even got pictures. You sent an email the other day. Here's some promotional photos. I'm like, yes, that's me out. Which is awesome. That's very cool.
Thank you again for joining us, and thank you, friends, for joining us for another episode of Crazy Women Country. Have a great day.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's episode of Crazy Women Country, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Be sure to click the subscribe button for new interviews weekly. And thank you, friends, for joining us today on Crazy Women Country, where women's voices matter.